Hello, friends. Here I am, I don't know, some remote location on Elk Creek, and I just wanted to talk about the effects of cannabis, and I'm not going to just use links to other websites or studies or anything like that, because we all know that two different people can tell the same story. They can observe the same event, write a different story, and that sometimes neither one of them are incorrect. So when you are looking at some of these studies that are coming out, like I think the one that Brad had shared was that in the Netherlands, that there was some kind of study done with a correlation between cannabis use and aggression, and I'm sure that maybe that could be true for what they were asking or whatever, but it depends on who they were asking. It depends how they were asking, and if they weren't asking enough questions, because if they're just asking about cannabis, and they're not asking about other substances, and especially pretty common substances like tobacco and alcohol, just asking a one-questioned, biased, study that whose creators want the results to make cannabis look bad. I mean, that's the bottom line. And when you look at most of these studies, and here are just a couple things. Like I said, I'm not going to be able to really. I mean, you can Google this yourself, because there are studies out there and information, but I'm not going to push any certain story your way, because that's what I found, and you need to go out and find it yourself. But anyway, the first thing is the gateway myth. Okay, I got like a half-hour video just on that subject. Go check it out. That's a total myth. So, whenever anybody, a prohibitionist, comes up and says, "Oh, well, we got to have drug prohibition because of the gateway theory," go check that one out. Now, as in social costs, when we were talking about my use of cannabis, the VA does not provide my medicine. They never have. I have not got a prescription from the VA since I started taking care from them in 2008. The last pharmaceuticals I took was when I was still in the Navy back in 1997, shortly before. And when I got out of the Navy, I quit the pharmaceuticals because, one, I didn't have any health insurance. When I got out of the Navy, I lost all my health insurance, could afford to continue the pharmaceuticals even if I'd wanted to. Or I would have had to have gone out and just got a doctor and paid for it privately, and God knows how much that would have freaking cost, because, like I said, I couldn't afford health insurance after getting out of the Navy. So I haven't had pharmaceuticals or anything like that since then. So that's like, what, 15 years. And for like 3 years, I wasn't taking any medication whatsoever. I wasn't taking pharmaceuticals. I wasn't smoking pot. I wasn't drinking. Wasn't doing anything, dude. I was just working, driving a truck, and trying to make ends meet. And it was like sleepless nights, insomnia, lower back pain, because while I was doing that, I injured my back, and I had this really bad pain in my back that, I mean, on a couple of occasions just left me just paralyzed, just, you know, freaking, I'm crying on the floor, can't move, can't do anything. And I wanted to work so bad, and I had this job set up, and because of my back, I couldn't go to work, man. And I lost that job, and that fucking made me feel so shitty. But anyway, and even during that injury, man, they gave me these, you know, these opiates and stuff like that. And I mean, it worked and everything, but it's not something I want to do. I don't like taking pharmaceuticals, man, because they leave me cloudy, and personally, I'm not able to function under them. It's really detrimental to me. So that's why I don't use them. So this fallacy that, oh, you just use pot because you want to get high, no, that's not at all what's going on, because you know, like right now, I left the house, and I have my pipe and my weed and my cigarettes, but man, I forgot a lighter. And you know what I'm really jonesing for right now? A cigarette. Yeah, tobacco. That is what I am craving, really, but right now. Hey, I could take my bowl out and freaking smoke it or leave it alone, dude. You know, it's not a habit-forming substance like some of the other drugs out there that are real habit-forming, and I don't like to have a habit. So I really don't want to, but I enjoy smoking. I love smoking. Ain't gonna quit. You know, tobacco I'm talking about. And you know, I've been doing that for fucking 30 years. So, and the thing is, you know, I'm up here freaking practically on the side of a mountain right now. And, you know, despite all the pot I smoke and all the cigarettes I smoke, I was able to get my ass up here. And you know, if cannabis causes lung damage and emphysema and or whatever they say it does, I have not experienced that, and nor have I seen that in other people that have consumed cannabis for longer than I have. You know, some of my older friends, old hippie friends from the 60s, they've been smoking pot for 40, 50 years, man. And they're still smoking. And they don't have serious lung diseases like some of the tobacco smokers that I know. And so, you know, when we're talking about serious health effects and stuff, I think it's really up to the doctor and the patient to decide what is the best treatment for your condition, you know. And you being the patient, of course, if you go to a doctor and they tell you something that you don't like to hear, like, oh, well, I'm just going to give you these, you know, these pharmaceuticals to cure your condition. Oh, doc, well, I've heard about this cannabis thing. Oh, well, you know, I'm not going to do that. Well, you need to go see a different doctor. Or, you know, that's the way it works here in California. And so that's the prerogative of the patient, you see. And the patient and the doctor are able to come to an agreement as to how cannabis is effective. And then every year, this isn't just a blank check, hey, you're good to go. No, you need to come back to the doctor every year, talk to them. And in the last couple years that I've gone back to have conversations with my doctor that recommends my cannabis, those are actually really, I mean, it's usually only really brief, maybe 10 or 15 minutes. But, you know, they go through and they give me a physical examination, listen to my heart, ask me questions on their thing, and they ask me if I have any questions, and I usually always do. And one of the things that I was really disturbed about is I tried to address this with the VA doctors and talk to them about this in a logical manner, and all they do, and none of them have any evidence whatsoever that the cannabis is detrimental to my experience. I mean, they'll say, oh, lazy, oh, it, blah, 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 but they cannot take a specific piece of that propaganda and apply it toward my case. So, they say, oh, it destroys families. Well, no, actually, I think me not having a job was more detrimental to the destruction of, my family than me consuming cannabis or smoking cigarettes. I mean, there's a lot of different factors going into it, and I'm not going to say it's not a contributing factor, because there are side effects for everything that we do. So whether you choose a pharmaceutical antidepressant to treat your condition, or you choose cannabis, or whatever you and your doctor agree on that's good for you, that's what you should be going with, So, and if you're not getting relief from your doctor or the medications that you're taking, then you need to talk to some other people. And I think it's really interesting how some people, if they're just not feeling right, they go to the doc and try a new antidepressant. That just seems really asinine to me. Because, and this is what another viewer had brought up to me in a previous discussion on this, is that this stuff is psychoactive. Of course it's psychoactive, And the fluoride that's in the water, that's psychoactive and an antidepressant that everybody's on. So, we got to look at, the whole thing, So, like I said, I've tried pharmaceuticals. I didn't find them very effective. I find the cost very prohibitive to seek and use pharmaceuticals. However, I have to go out to get that cannabis recommendation. I have to pay for that myself. That's an out-of-pocket, $150 doctor's visit. That comes out of my pocket. There's no copay. No insurance will cover it. That's my cost. Now, when I was homeless and had a recommendation, I had to pay cash for all my medicine because I didn't have a place to live or a place to grow my own medicine. So I had to pay cash. And pretty much all my extra cash went to medicine because the day is a lot better off having a day without dope is like night. I love that Cheech and Chong quip. And many of you people out there that suffer from mental illness, you know how it goes if you don't get your medication for a day or two. And being homeless, I mean, why do I have to go to an illicit market? Actually, I didn't have to go to an illicit market, but I still had to pay exorbitant prices for it, and that's just not fair economically, I feel. We should be able to grow cannabis just like a tomato plant. There's no reason that we all shouldn't be doing, we all should be able to do it. This thing that we have to go to the doctor to get permission. We don't have to go to the doctor to get permission to use aspirin. And aspirin kills tens of thousands of people a year, especially now that it's being prescribed as, a cancer, health, or heart, freaking remedy. And years ago when it was like 10,000 people a year die from use of clinically proven use of aspirin. We can all go down and buy that freely, and that's a product to me that seems pretty dangerous if it's got that many deaths attached to it. But with cannabis, they cannot make that kind of correlation with any kind of data, because you could consume like a ton of cannabis, if you could, at one time, and not even that massive dose would be toxic to your body. It would not. You can't OD on cannabis. Impossible. It will not kill you. It's totally benign. That's what I'm saying. When you're talking about these antidepressants, if you took a month's worth of antidepressants at one time, it would probably kill you. Whereas I could eat a month's of my medicine at one time, and it would just make me really hungry, really sleepy, and I'd go to bed and wake up in the morning feeling pretty good. So that's a comparison, and that's just what I experienced, and that is what is important to me, my experience. And I'm not doing this to win you over to, why pot is great or whatever. I'm just sharing my experience, and I hope that me sharing my experience will allow freedom to flourish. And the other weird thing, okay, I'm going to just cut this one off and put some new batteries in here, but you have another a good one about motor control and stuff like that.